Thanks, Shay, for jumping in the call today. A couple of the topics I wanted to cover with you was you've been doing a lot of work on team building. You've been developing a new food service program. You're doing a lot of stuff that's really, really relevant to a lot of customers that I talk to these days. So, why don't we start with what you've been doing with building and developing your team, some of the standard procedures. Can you just start with that and we'll
Sure,
take it from there?
sure. So, when I start the hiring process, I like to be very detailed about what I'm expecting from the team, the individual, and what I'm trying to create as the team. Um, so I'm real upfront about what I'm expecting out of them, and uh, while I'm building the team, I make sure that when that person's being hired, they fit well with the team.
One of the things that I've seen you do a lot of, because I know you focus a lot on the hiring, is you've done a lot of work when we first started having some of our conversations. You were building some of the operating procedures. You had this real thick book of like SOPs. And then tell me a little bit about what you did to kind of simplify that for not just yourself, but for your team.
Yeah. So I had been trying to produce a handbook, a policy store handbook, and it was very, very thick. And I realized on one of the meetings that I didn't need all of that in a handbook. I just needed a portion of it. So I broke the book down into four guides. One was for hiring, one was for standard operations in the store, and then policies, and then there's like a management one. So I broke it down, and it's now digitally available on one of our software that we use for the employees. And I felt accomplished on that because it was
Mm.
hindering me for so long, a year at least.
What so what did that do for you as, in your management role?
It it made me feel organized. It made me feel like a weight was lifted off my shoulders, knowing that it was available for the employees, and I was able to realize that it could be broken up and I didn't have to put it all in the one book. So
Mm.
it was a movement. It was very I felt really accomplished after that.
What did it do for your team, like your assistant managers and your uh, cashiers, anybody?
It just gave them clarity for this assistant manager, which is the new position. It gives her something to reference on if I was not here in the event that I'm not here. It just gave clarity and understanding how the store should run.
Mm. And you've been working on a lot of new food programs. Can
Yes.
you tell me just a little bit about that? And then I want to hear a little bit more about what you've been doing recently to kind of fine tune that and grow those sales. But just give me a baseline. Where were you before you started a lot of this food? What are you doing now?
All right. So we have one cook, and she comes in at 7 a.m. and she starts the cooking of fried foods. We had a very small little menu of items, and by everything would be done by at least 8:30 in the morning. Um, when I got access to the data and I started reading it, on a daily basis, I realized that our busy times was no food. So I went to my boss and told him there was no food when we're busy. So we he said go for it. He gave me the green light to go ahead and bring in somebody to cook early in the morning, and because our busy times are starts at 3 a.m. So I came in with them, and we started that program up at 3 a.m. and pretty much everybody that came in was buying the food item at that time. So it was going well. So I expanded and I made more food, different food. And now most of our food is ready by 4 a.m.
Mm.
And
You're
we're doing really
you're
good. It's
capturing
working.
you're capturing that 4, 5, 6, 7 now, so that 3 to 4 hours. What did that do to your numbers?
It doubled.
Mm. Just that 3, 4 hours, you doubled your food sales, which
Yeah.
is incredible. And you've got an interesting setup because you do a lot of fuel volume. You're a truck stop, and so one of your big things I know is working on converting those fuel members into your inside. And so food is a key piece of that. One of the other big projects that I know you've been working on is building your team. Tell me a little bit about how that's been going. What's been working well, and what are some of the roadblocks, or what are some, the surprises that you've run into?
So building a team is an ongoing. Um, it never stops. It never stops. Building a team is a lot of patience, a lot of communication. I use a group chat to communicate. I um, steady meetings, like try to get to everybody together to stay on the same page. We just started our handover. When in between our shifts, we do a handover where we discuss anything that's an importance, like if there's any fuel problems on the pumps, if there's any equipment problems inside the store. Sometimes drivers will leave something for another driver, and we don't know nothing about it if nobody tells us. So I make sure they inform the next shift. So that's helping. That's helping out a lot. But building a team takes a lot of work. It's like I said, it's ongoing. It some of the challenges I've been facing is uh, personal issues of my employees uh, that affects the team, and I'm working through that right now. Uh, I think we'll be fine, but building a strong team is important to me because we're a small business. Like we don't have that many employees, so we need to show up for work. And we need to be here when we're scheduled, and so keeping close as a more than just a team. We're like family, so we
Mm.
have each other's back, and uh, part of building a team needs to be strong so that we work well together.
I hear from a lot of managers who've had similar issues to what you're facing, and you don't need to give any specific details, but I know, sometimes I've heard managers who build this team and then they lose a key person for whatever reason. They move, or it's not always because of bad blood, or something terrible like stealing or something like that. It's just sometimes people move on, but then you lose that key person. So but tell me a little bit about how some of your planning and your structure, and I know you did a lot of time with that. How did that help with when that person leaves, and or did it help?
So I've been actively working on like creating sustainable systems so that when something is disrupted, I have a backup plan. So some of the food items we've been putting on cards and just having available for if anybody needs to cook, it'll be available. All the instructions to use the equipment and just having exactly how it's supposed to be done in readily available for the employees and always the same. Like it's gonna always be the same servings. Uh, just being able to have reference guides. So
What has that done for onboarding a new person?
well, it makes it much easier. It's not confusing because it's hard to work in a environment that's no clarity. It you don't you don't get the best out of people that way. You get the minimum of their work performance if there's just no clarity. They don't move forward. They don't grow. They need as much clarity as they can have.
And what's been the hardest part about putting that clarity in place, would you say?
Um, Prioritizing and just putting it into a system, like creating that system is challenging. It's trial and error. Trial and error is really what makes and breaks things. You have to go through
Mm.
things in order to be able to fix it. and have a backup plan and have a system for those things that happen.
Last question, I think. How have you been able to stick to that priority? Because it's easy to have a lot of priorities in the C store. So, what have you done to make sure that you have that priority and everybody sticks to it?
Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath and I write a lot. I write things down a lot. That's how
Mm.
I remember and keep things close to my to stay strong and I don't know how to word it. Like it just makes me remember the challenges so that I just continue to grow. Everything's, there's always room for improvement. So,
Love it. Well, thank you, Shay. I appreciate
yes.
it.